3 rounds of discussion with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first from a Zoom call in Columbia, South Carolina, Matthew, aka the Unbreakable Spirit. And his opponent from a Zoom call in Atlanta, Georgia, Daniel, aka the Executioner. Take it away, Matthew.
Thank you, Jesse, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. This is episode number 123. I'm double checking that to make sure I'm correct. Of At Odds with the Unbreakable Spirit.
And the Executioner, Daniel Travas.
Yeah, I am the Unbreakable Spirit, Matthew Smith, and I'm correct. Why don't we run through the topics?
This is the first for this podcast, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, it's a fully AEW centric episode.
What?
Which I don't think we've ever done on the podcast.
Well, number 1.
Tony Khan believes AEW has the best roster in the business today.
Number 2.
Has AEW improved?
Since it started back in 2019.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Sting's retirement. But for now, my friend.
Well, Tony Khan says he has the best wrestlers in the world. I would say debatable. No.
Very debatable considering most of his star power is ex-WWE employees.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it here. Like, Tony, the only reason you have all the star power that you got is because, like you said, they're all like WWE guys. Not to mention is that, you don't really. I thought the point of AEW was to grow homegrown talent, but you have more ex-WWE guys than you do homegrown talent.
Yeah, I thought the point of AEW was to be an alternate to WWE, not be a retirement home for WWE legends.
Yeah, shit, I ain't gonna argue with that. But I mean, like, my honest thought is,
and like, you know, you're not doing good at being an alternate to WWE when one of your VPs, one of your favorites, and one of your top competitors go back to WWE after their contracts expire or they get terminated.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, you have incredible wrestlers, but you have too fucking many.
Yeah, and that's something we're gonna touch more probably in the next segment. Because I feel like owning Ring of Honor has definitely had an effect on AEW.
Agreed. But anyway, on topic here. Is AEW currently the best in the world? No.
No, if anything, I think it might. I need to clarify before I say this. For the wrestling we currently watch, I think WWE has the better roster.
Yeah. Yeah. One last thing I'm going to mention on this is that I feel like...
Last thing, dude, we still have over 3 minutes.
Right. One more thing I will say about WWE is that I feel like nowadays is that you are like... It's kind of not so boring compared to WWE's product nowadays because ever since The Rock has shown up, it's kind of like, okay, what the f*** is going to happen next?
Yeah, and since the Triple H regime took over creative.
Yeah, that too. But anyway, I don't really know if AEW has the best in the world, but they have a lot of talented wrestlers.
Well, I will say they do have someone who is the self-proclaimed best in the world at what he does.
True. And it's still crazy that he's still doing it. 30
Yeah.
plus.
I mean, to be fair, R-Truth is like 52 or something, and he's still doing this shit.
Fair enough. Yeah. My honest take on this is like, look, you have a lot of guys that are lots of talented men, a lot of talented, not just men, not just talented men, but you also got talented women, but you sometimes don't really pay attention to the. I honestly feel this might be a weird take to say, but I don't feel like the AEW honestly gives a shit about their women's division, honestly. Ever since Jay Cargill left.
WWE does a better job with their women's division, and they only have 3 women's titles and 1 women's tag title.
Yeah, and somehow they make it work. But anyway, hey, what is your thoughts, Matthew? Do you honestly think that AEW has the best quote unquote roster in the world?
No, I legitimately currently think it's WWE.
Why?
Because the WWE said they're going to focus on homegrown talent, and unlike AEW, they've actually stuck to that.
Yeah.
We have great stars like the phenomenal heel Carmelo Hayes,
Yes.
Braun Breaker, and
Hell.
and other really good stars. And we have stars that that worked for AEW for a little bit.
Hell, the return of Shawn Spears, which I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah.
I did not see that shit coming.
Yeah, but I don't know if people know this, but Dragon Lee worked some matches on AEW, but they never signed him to a full-time contract.
So what are you saying? If you're a professional wrestler, do a couple matches and then WWE might actually you might not get on their radar. Be like, oh, this is a talented wrestler. Maybe
Yeah,
we should
and keep
hire.
in mind, Jade Cargill, one of the best women's wrestlers in AEW's heyday, before she signed with AEW, before AEW was even a thing, she did a tryout for WWE.
Yeah, that's true. My honest thought on if AEW has the current best wrestlers in the world is
So yeah, the
no.
timer just went off. I forgot my iPad was sort of my ringer was like very low because reasons. So let's go into the final thoughts. I'll let you start since this was your segment.
My final thoughts is I think that AEW, well, they do have a lot of very talented male and female wrestlers from both ex WWE guys and also all the Ring of Honor talent that they have. Is that you have so much talent that sometimes it's hard to know. Okay, who is the best that you got? If you got so much talent, if you're gonna get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, I feel like, and for my final thoughts, I feel like a lot of AEW talent has been lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. We'll be back with topic number 2.
There we go, and we are back with topic numero dos. If AEW has actually improved since its inception in 2019.
My first thoughts is
I will say for a while, yes, it was the better product for a while.
Yeah, and I will say one of the better things that AEW, and this might be a really hot take, but one of the better things that they had going for them was anything MJF did, you paid attention to.
Yeah.
Anything that did, whether he was a babyface, whether he was a heel, no matter what that dude did, when he talked, you listened.
Yeah, like The Rock said, when The Rock puts boots to asses, you shut up and listen. It's the same for Maxwell Jacob Freeman.
You know what makes that like? I know we haven't spoken about this much, but it's just. And keep in mind, has AEW improved? I just want to mention this right now. If I'm MJF, would I stick to AEW? Probably, because you made a name for yourself there. But you're only 25. Keep that in mind. He's only 25.
That's crazy. And we mentioned this. I think one of the things that might actually be hindering AEW is its reliance on wrestlers who are like the age where it's nostalgic for people to see them.
Yeah.
People like Daddy Ass Billy Gunn, Chris Jericho, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage.
Although I will admit, Christian Cage has been surprised. Like, he's entertaining to watch as a heel.
Yeah.
But the thing about AEW that hasn't improved, kind of. I mean, the only real thing that's improved is people doing more dumb shit.
True.
Literally take anything Darby Allin has done to him. Literally any crazy spot that Darby Allin has done. Any of them. Like, what?
Yeah, I will admit I give it the TNA treatment. I just have it on for background noise.
Yeah. The thing about AEW is because, and this is something that personally has kind of bothered me, is the thing that made AEW good at first is, they had the win-loss record. They made that shit important.
I mean, Samoa Joe brought it back.
Yeah, but the fact is, Samoa Joe had to do that. It disappeared and then it reappeared and no one even knew about it. What the fuck?
Yeah. And Joe brought it back so he would be finding the best of the best.
Which, look, I'm going to be honest. I thought the reason for me, a reason what made AEW different from WWE was the entire win-loss record. The fact is that they kept track every time you made an entrance. Here's your win-loss record because it made every win and loss matter.
Yeah, and I have mentioned this on the podcast. WWE probably keeps track internally, just not in storylines unless you're Kurt Hawkins and you lost almost every match when you return.
Yeah. But I mean, this is something that needs to be mentioned is AEW has way too much talent. Way too many. It doesn't matter if they're ex-WWE guys. Doesn't matter if they're Ring of Honor talent. It doesn't matter if, they're talent for coming over from another promotion. You have way too many talent. Hell, you just signed Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Bro, slow down.
The problem is that that overflow of talent started when Tony Khan announced he had bought Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Because look, truth be told, and I'm going to be honest with you here, folks, I forget sometimes, oh, that's right, Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor because you hardly mention Ring of Honor. Nothing really seems important to happen on Ring of Honor anymore. If I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I went to Collision, I left after Collision because I did not want to sit through another hour of or another half hour of Ring of Honor. Because if I had stayed, we would have gotten home after 1 a.m.
Damn.
Yeah,
But look, take Steam's retirement, which we mentioned, is dude, you got Steam. Like, don't get me wrong. AEW every once in a while will surprise you, like when Adam Cole debuted. That shit was surprising.
yeah.
Like, what the? But it's just like, if you have people in your company that are just coming there to finish their careers, help them finish their careers.
Yeah, you heard the timer, which means it's time for the final thought. Since this is my segment, I will go first.
Take it away.
So, we talked about this before, and I think it holds true. AEW, it was better for a while, but when Ring of Honor came in, they had an overflow of talent and stars that were built up actually got lost in the shuffle a little bit. So for me, AEW has not improved in 19. In fact, it has gotten worse. And in order to fix that, what they need to do is A, get some form of on screen authority figure.
Besides Tony Khan.
Because he rarely shows up anyways.
Yeah.
And B, have specific rosters for specific shows. And if you don't, and if you have too many wrestlers, I hate to say it, but pull a Vince McMahon and send some future endeavor.
Yeah, my final thoughts is, look, when I watched AEW all the time, it was entertaining. It made a difference. It was a new WWE product. It was something different from the years that I've spent watching WWE. But now, what I'm about to say, maybe like this might be a real hot take here, but it's turned into a WWE graveyard / WCW 2.0.
Yeah.
I don't care how people feel about this, but it's just like when you have apologies, when you have too much talent, whether it be male, whether it be female, whether it like when you have too much shit and you're having your wrestlers do too much crazy shit, whether it be like you have so much backstage drama and you have so much personal beef from behind the scenes leaking their win on screen. You need to manage your roster better, if I'm honest.
Yeah, even if a guy that caused some of the drama is no longer in the company.
There's still drama.
People, AEW has lost star power, and we still think they're worse.
That tells you something, folks. But the last thing I want to mention real quick so I can wrap my thoughts up is, has AEW improved since 2019? No, not at all.
Hell, I'll suggest this. How about next week, one of our topics be how AEW can improve?
All right, roll it. We'll be back with the next topic.
Yeah, we'll be back with the third and final topic.
All right, Sting's retirement.
Yeah, we've been talking about how AEW's been losing star power. This might be the biggest one, to be honest.
100% agree. Yeah,
If
because
he leaves, he should always move into a managerial role for Darby Allin because I don't think he wants to stop doing this after he's been doing this since 1986.
yeah, and then like first, I just want to say Sting went out on a high note.
Yeah, which for someone old school like him, you don't think would happen.
Yeah, because I heard somewhere. I don't know if this is true, but I heard Sting wanted the opposite.
That's
I don't
not
know.
surprising. And for the record, people, we're recording this the Wednesday after AEW Revolution. So and Travis told me that apparently they're doing like a tag team tournament or something. Are Darby and Sting vacating the titles then?
I think. I mean, if they're doing a tournament, most likely yes. Probably
Yeah.
seems likely.
Yeah, but like to think Sting never wrestled a singles match in the entirety of his time wrestling in AEW.
That is true, but in WWE he had.
In WWE, we thought his career was over because of a buckle bomb.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, and they were like, and then watching AEW, see and then he showed up randomly on an episode of Dynamite. Like, what the
After
hell?
at his Hall of Fame induction speech for WWE, he said he was retiring.
And then, ta-da.
Surprise, it's showtime.
Yeah, because look, a problem with Sting. Like, don't get me wrong, Sting has done a lot of crazy in AEW. Like, the man has taken a lot of, they get a scorpion dash drop off the stage onto someone. He's done like double scorpion dash drops. Even hell, that man has dived off a ladder onto a table onto somebody.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is something I've heard. Darby Allin wasn't the one who convinced him to do it. He's like, hey, Darby Allin was just like, hey, when are you coming back out of retirement and wrestle? Like, okay. And then, end your career on your terms. It's like, hey, I gotta give Darby props for that.
Yeah. Like, it's insane to think this man is in his 60s.
64.
And he was doing dumb shit like what Travis just mentioned.
Yeah, just jumping like, yeah. Like, bruh, like jumping off like the top of a guardrail, for example. Shit like that. Like, the fuck?
Yeah, like Sting, you gotta be around for. I assume you have grandkids. Don't
Yeah, just
see them.
be like,
Yeah,
eh.
kids, they were part of your final.
Or,
One of them was
yeah.
dressed up as Sting, the other Wolfpack Sting.
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, I gotta give Sting props because he definitely, like, think about this. The thing about Sting, and I gotta mention this, is that man had 2 appearances in 2 different wrestling companies nobody saw coming.
Yeah, he is the master of a shocking debut.
Showed up at Survivor Series. Like, what? Showed up and then on an episode of Dynamite. I call Winter's Coming. You'd be like, what? But it raises this question. What was more surprising?
I think maybe his WWE debut, because I think Sting had said somewhere he would never go to WWE.
Never say never.
And then he went to WWE, and it was okay, but his run in AEW was probably the better of the two runs.
Yeah, I mean, like hell, in AEW, for example, that man would take 2 super kicks to the face and not sell a single, and just be like, "Is that all you got?" Like, be like, "Oh yeah, I'll take 2 super kicks to the face," and be like, "Come on."
Yeah, I'm gonna miss. I think I don't even know who said it, but it might have been it
Tony
was either
Schiavone?
Giovanni or Excalibur saying it's Sting.
That's Tony
AEW.
Schiavone. That was Tony Schiavone.
Okay.
Which makes it a lot more impactful when you know Tony, when he said that all the time back. Hey, guess what? He's another WCW legend.
Of course he is.
Same with JR. So he's WCW and a WWE legend.
The timer is off. It's time for the final thoughts.
Mine. Well, I'll let you go first. This is your segment.
No, this is your segment.
Okay. My final thoughts. I first want to say thanks for Sting for showing up and wrestling. Ending your career as AEW tag team champion against the Young Bucks is a hell of a way to go out on his career. But I want to end this on, what the hell's gonna happen to Darby? Because if Darby Allin has spent the past nearly 3 years working with Sting, what's gonna happen to that crazy son of a bitch?
You expect me to have the answer?
No, but it's just a question I'm putting out there.
Well, to be fair, Darby Allin is a former TNT champion, so maybe he could go back after that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
He retired as he debuted on a TV channel owned by Turner.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sting, for a longer than the Undertaker career.
38 years.
Yeah. He debuted in 1986 and retired in 2024.
Because he said, hey, I started my AEW career, my first match at AEW Revolution. I'm going to end my career. No, and I will say, I don't think that this is going to be one of those wrestlers that is like a kind of retirement. I think this is
yeah, we've already had like bad opinions about people saying they're going to retire in WWE and then go into AEW.
But I think for Sting, I think
this is it.
It's done. No more Showtime. It's show over.
Yeah. And cut. Thank you for watching. Roll that outro. Thank you for listening to At Odds, hosted by the Unbreakable Spirit
and the Executioner,
edited by the Unbreakable Spirit. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MTS_life_0126.
You can follow me on Instagram at DanTravis121, and you can also follow me on the Twitter at DanTheExecutioner21.
And you can follow the podcast at Odds Podcast. We'll be back next week with more debates and discussions. But until then, the Executioner and the Unbreakable Spirit will still be at odds.
Thank you, losers.